Welcome back to the show. Bill, how are we doing?
Good, CT. Good to see you.
Yep, absolutely, my man, and congratulations.
Well, we had the New York Emmys over the weekend, and the Knicks crew did really well. We won for best overall broadcast. Mike Breen split the play-by-play award with Iron Eagle. Our producer Spencer Julian seems to win every year. He won again. Our great director Howie Singer won, and I won for best sports host. So that's the first time I've won in the individual category. So I was really excited to win. The 150
Mm,
that I won and has won, but it was nice to win the individual award this time.
yeah, absolutely. Got that winning feeling. And congratulations, yeah, to the whole team, the whole crew. MSG Networks, the best at what they do. And Bill, we've had some preseason action, and that's what we're here to talk about. The first two games. Let's start with the first game against Detroit. What did you like? What you saw in that game? Anything that surprised you? What stood out the most?
Well, I would say overall to this point, I like. Look, it's preseason, obviously, but the offense looks more cohesive. And the one thing that we're all going to watch is the efficiency of field goal percentage for Randle and RJ. Are they going to have to work as hard as they did last year for their shots when they didn't shoot especially well in terms of percentage, or is Brunson going to make things easier? And so far, I would say that RJ in particular has been much more efficient, and that's really going to help, especially when these games are decided down the line. We all know, and we've all watched how important late game execution is in deciding these games. And hopefully, with Brunson, that's going to change how things were mainly last year when the Knicks really struggled when games were on the line.
Yeah, it was a noticeable difference just having that point guard. We've talked about Jalen Brunson's impact, but it's only pointing now that we've got to see it in two games, and what a different team they look like. The pace is there, and the starters, Bill, have taken care of business as well. And then when the bench comes in, that just gives the team another boost.
I mean, Obi the other night obviously was electric against the Pacers. Dunk. I don't know if we're going to have a highlight like that for the rest of the year through the legs. Just fantastic. Uh, Quickly look good. We've talked about this, CT. A healthy Derrick Rose is going to be a huge lift for them. So hopefully he stays healthy. The one issue now, obviously, is Grimes has not played because of the foot problem. Hopefully that
Mm.
doesn't occur. But Grimes seems to be an important part of that second five. Um, I don't know that Reddish has stepped forward here with an opportunity. Fournier rested the other night. Reddish, to me, I think is going to be the odd man in terms of the top 10. We all know Tibbs only plays 10. So
Mm.
hopefully Grimes can get going here starting Wednesday night when the Knicks are at the Pacers.
Yeah, yeah. In terms of the shooting as well, with RJ, the free throw shooting, the Knicks shot 96% from the line in the second game, and Mitchell Robinson included.
I know the Knicks is 26 of 27 from the line. How many times did we talk last year about missed free throws being one of the main problems in these close games? So, hey, that's a great sign. Brunson, I think, was 9 out of 9 from the line. And what's really interesting to me about Brunson is that he's not big, but he's strong enough to get to where he wants to go. He doesn't get knocked off of his path, if you will. And
No,
that's something to really notice so far.
yeah, strong frame, strong body, just a calming influence on this team. Jalen Brunson's assist as well. Was it 4 or 5 assists both games? The ball's flowing, the ball's moving. Guy's going to get easier shots. And of course, yeah, Obi was electric in transition. What was more impressive, Bill, the dunks or the popping the three ball?
Well, we always start screaming when Obi airballs or clanks a three like he did early in the game. What I was really impressed about is that he bounced back and started hitting a couple three threes. And that was a really good sign. If he hits that three ball consistently, that's a whole nother dimension because we all know what he can do in transition. But the fact that he was able to bounce back after airballing a three or two and hit a couple, I thought was a really good sign.
Yeah, you see the confidence, coming into his third year now, RJ's fourth year. You called it in the last show, Bill. You talked about Tom Thibodeau. Is he more willing? Could this be the year that he plays the young players more and they get that opportunity? There's not as many veterans on this roster. They are shaping up to have a huge role this season.
What's going to be interesting to me is who closes the games in the backcourt. You figure Brunson is a lock, and then will it be Quickly or Rose? I don't know that he can play
Mm.
Brunson, Quickly, and Rose together. I don't think that's likely or possible. So who's it going to be? Is it going to be Rose or Quickly with Brunson? Because you figure you can have RJ out there with Randle and Mitch to close games. So that's something definitely to watch
Yeah.
is how this thing slots. Because Fournier most of the time last year wasn't in there when the game was on the line. So we'll have to see how that shakes out.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned Julius Randle. What have you seen from Julius so far? And how do you feel like the pairing with Obi Toppin and Randle and the minutes distribution can play out?
I think with Brunson there, at least, look, it's only the preseason, but Randall hasn't had to be so dominant.
Yep.
And you look at his box score, it's been great. Double double or close to it, decent assists, not forcing things. As I started our conversation with, I think Brunson being on the team is going to help Randall's uh, mindset. He won't have to do everything, and I just think it's going to make him much more relaxed. So when it comes to distribution, though, that remains to be seen because we know that Tibbs likes to go with Randall. Obi last year probably averaged about 15 minutes a game. We'll see if he gets more.
Yeah. Who would be your tip after 2 games to get the starting nod now out of Fournier, Grimes? Who do you think it's shaping up to be?
Well, Grimes hasn't played yet, and I think Tibbs is going to go with Grimes in the second unit.
Mm.
Grimes a good 3-point shooter, but that's how Fournier makes his money. And the Knicks starting five, to me, really needs Fournier out there to space the floor because you got Mitch down low, you got Randle, RJ, and Brunson, all left-handed drivers, not necessarily guys who like to hang out on the perimeter. So that's why I think Fournier is going to just be really, really important.
Yeah. I've been surprised and pleased with some things from Tom Thibodeau. The quick timeouts and actually for the first 2 games, extending the minutes, extending the rotation. Obviously, we feel like it'll probably ramp up in the final 2 games. But what have you seen from Tibbs?
Well, we always talk about the third quarter of boom or the third quarter of doom. And unfortunately, the last couple of years coming out of halftime, the Knicks have really struggled. The other night, in that second game against the Pacers, he called three
Mm.
timeouts. Three times. And it was very interesting to watch. And you know what? It held Indiana off.
It
Uh,
did.
he's not gonna let those leads erode, and they were able to then stabilize and actually increase the lead. So it's very interesting how he did that. Hey, if you're gonna have to call three timeouts to keep things going, then that's great.
Yeah, no, definitely getting the squad in order, and yeah, you mentioned Cam Reddish as well. He got an opportunity, got a start, coming off the ankle roll. I feel like Cam is going to get more opportunities coming through. But what did you see, and what do you think is going to happen with Cam Reddish with the
See,
situation now?
I don't necessarily agree with that because I don't know that Reddish fits in the top 10.
Mm.
Uh, and we all know that barring an injury, Tibbs is only going to play the top 10. So my second five right now is Hartenstein, Obi, Grimes, Quick, and Rose.
Yeah.
I don't see where Reddish fits right now unless there's an injury. And to be honest, he hasn't really made the most of his opportunities so far. So
Mm. I think Deuce McBride's put a good case forward for some minutes as well. Obviously, if there's injuries, but yeah, Deuce McBride's defensive intensity is something that Tom Thibodeau loves.
no question. But again, you got Quickly and Rose and Brunson. I maybe you put McBride in there, but that means someone else's minutes are not going to be what you would expect them to be. So I think
Mm.
McBride's to have. I don't know
Yeah.
that he's going to be a piece of the rotation.
Maybe back to backs. They rest Derrick Rose. Bears
And
watching, Bill.
that's interesting. That's a good point. Maybe they go easy with Rose, and then you would have McBride
Yeah.
slot in there. That's a good point.
What did surprise me, Bill? I think Derrick Rose played like 7 minutes of the first game. Was it 13 minutes the second game? So they are easing him in.
Yeah, Rose. It says he's healthy. He says his conditioning's good.
Yeah.
God, he just turned 34. He's been at this a long time. I just think that we kind of underestimate how important he was to the success 2 years ago, and how much they missed him last year when these games were on the line. And I think it's a really big priority to keep him healthy for sure.
Yep. Talk about closing lineups. I think him next to Brunson would keep the defense very honest.
Absolutely, absolutely. Then you probably wouldn't have quickly out
Yeah,
there, but you know that's okay too, as
yeah.
long as you're able to close, right?
Yeah, exactly right. I think the Knicks offense is going to be is going to take a giant leap this season with Brunson. The defense has been above league average for the last 2 seasons, but if the offense makes a big jump this season, playing faster, the bench more experienced together as well, then yeah, talking about win projections now, Bill. I've predicted the Knicks can win 45 games. You talked about 40 to 45 last time. Has anything changed?
I don't know if you saw, I think the Vegas over under is like 39 and a half or something
Oh,
like that. ESPN came out with that kind of win total around there too. I think they're better than that. I'm with you. I think low 40s is realistic. I think,
mm,
43, 45 wins, it would be great. Now the problem is you got a very competitive Eastern Conference, so we'll have to see. But
yeah.
45, 30, and 37 would be fantastic.
The free throws and the closing out of the games. Well, is there any bold prediction you could have for the upcoming season or a safe bet?
You mean Knicks wise, you mean?
Yep.
I say I would I have we mess around at work, we bet each other, whatever, have some fun. I took over 39 and a half wins. I think the
Mm,
Knicks are the win total is going to begin with a 4. I
yep.
hope I'm
Yep.
right. I hope I'm right.
Oh, hey, I'm with you. I think that's a very, very solid bet. Um, obviously the off season was the Spider Mitchell talk with Obi showing what he's showing. It was no fluke towards the end of last season. Now there's a lot of exciting things to look forward to with the Knicks young core. And if one, two, three of them take a huge leap this season, then the talk about what could have been with Spider would will be no more.
I'm okay with them not having Donovan Mitchell. I just it would have they were being asked to give up too much.
Yeah,
I don't know. If you saw CT, the ESPN projections only has Cleveland at 42 and a half wins. I don't know how that
yeah.
is.
One
How they
more
only,
game.
how is that? 42 and a half wins. How is that?
I think they took into account Cleveland's defense. That was the concern if the Knicks had got Spider, a smaller backcourt.
Right.
Um, Look at Bears watching, every year, Bill, there's a team that we think is going to be great, not as good. Atlanta last season was supposed to go deep, and they regressed. Um, Chicago, I think that's a team that may regress this season. Lonzo Ball is injured. The Heat, can Jimmy Butler continue to carry that team? That's a team that I feel might be one that could slide.
Well, I don't know about that. I think if the Knicks can slide into the top, well, I think it'd be very hard pressed for them to finish above 7. So then you're in a
Yeah,
playing, and from our purposes, that would be really, really, really interesting, exciting for sure. So,
yep. Would have us buzzing, MSG buzzing. And speaking of MSG, look out for the direct to consumer product. Hopefully, be coming out. Was it the start of Q3?
I think we talked about that last time, but I'm not sure about the specifics on that.
Yep, yep. But yeah, it'll definitely be keenly awaited from the cable cutters. And once again, MSG Networks, Bill, congratulations on the Emmys. And I look forward to a great season of coverage. The New York Knicks are going to have a big season. I can just feel it.
All right, CT. It's always great to see you. Thank you again for having me on. We'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Yep, pleasure, Bill. Speak to you soon.